In today's global news roundup, tensions between the US, China, and Japan heat up as military exercises and political rhetoric spark controversy. We'll also dive into the ongoing inflation debate between Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump, new legal troubles for voting machine company Smartmatic, alarming projections for cancer rates among men, a major initiative from the Biden administration aimed at consumer protections, and New York City's soaring expenses in response to the migrant crisis. Zhang Xiaogong, a Chinese military spokesperson, recently lashed out at the United States and Japan following their trilateral military exercises with the Philippines. At a press conference, Zhang accused the US and Japan of playing up the so-called China military threat to justify closer military ties. He didn't hold back, labeling the United States as the biggest nuclear threat to the world. He also criticized Japan, saying that as the only country ever targeted by nuclear strikes, Japan is failing to learn from history and instead is pandering to the US to gain nuclear deterrence. Digging deeper, these comments came shortly after a delegation of Japanese lawmakers visited Taiwan, prompting China to warn Japan that it should be prepared to pay a heavy price if it interferes with Taiwan. Additionally, concerns have been raised in China over the U.S. deploying a mid-range missile system to the Philippines. According to Philippine Foreign Secretary Enrique Manalo, China's Foreign Minister Wang Yi was very dramatic during their call, warning that the deployment is destabilizing. Turning to domestic politics, Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump are trading jabs over the issue of inflation. Vice President Harris vows to make reducing costs and increasing economic security a top priority for all Americans. She also warned that if Trump is reelected, prices will soar for the average American. In contrast, former President Trump promises to immediately bring prices down if he returns to office. He questioned why Vice President Harris hasn't already taken action to fix the economy, adding, "She's in now." In legal news, Smartmatic, the voting machine company embroiled in defamation lawsuits against Fox News, now faces new challenges after its co-founder and executives were indicted on bribery charges. The U.S. Department of Justice announced that Roger Pagnotti, Smartmatic's president, along with two employees, allegedly paid $1 million in bribes to secure contracts for the 2016 Philippine elections. This scandal comes as Smartmatic is pursuing a $2.7 billion defamation suit against Fox News over allegations of voter fraud during the 2020 U.S. presidential election. The company has placed the indicted employees on leave and emphasized that the case does not involve any allegations of voter fraud. A recent study published in the journal Cancer projects a significant rise in cancer cases and deaths among men by 2050, particularly for those aged 65 and older. The study suggests an 84% increase in cancer cases and a 94% rise in deaths among men. The disparity in cancer mortality rates between men and women is expected to grow without targeted interventions. Higher risk factors among men, such as smoking, alcohol consumption, and occupational exposure to carcinogens, contribute to lower survival rates. Men are also less likely to participate in cancer prevention activities or make use of available screening and treatment options. The Biden administration has launched the Time is Money initiative to address practices by companies that make it difficult for consumers to cancel subscriptions, access rebates, or receive refunds. This initiative includes reducing excessive paperwork, shortening wait times, and making cancellation processes easier. The Federal Trade Commission, FTC, is reviewing a proposed rule requiring companies to make cancellation as easy as signing up. The Federal Communications Commission, FCC, is also considering extending these requirements to communication companies. Health and Human Services Secretary Xavier Becerra and Acting Labor Secretary Julie Su have called on health insurance companies to adopt similar practices. Finally, New York City's spending on the migrant crisis has exceeded $5 billion, with nearly $2 billion allocated to housing alone. The total cost of managing the influx of migrants is projected to reach $10 billion by June 2025. Mayor Eric Adams' administration has incurred significant expenses dealing with the crisis, including $500 million on food and medical costs and $21 million on public safety. The city has converted numerous hotels into emergency shelters, resulting in contracts worth millions. Despite efforts to manage the situation, Mayor Adams noted that while the worst is behind us, the city is not out of the woods yet. That's all for tonight's news update. Thank you for joining us. We'll continue to monitor these stories and bring you the latest developments. Stay safe, stay informed, and have a good night. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you never miss an update.